Okay. My good friend, um,
皆さんこん
Shigeru Miyamoto banzai to this man. So, the most un-Nintendo-like thing Nintendo has ever created, according to Miyamoto. Let's check this out.
にちは、宮本です。では次に行ってみましょうか。
Although many are labeled with the moniker legend, few deserve it more than Shigeru Miyamoto. His influence on video games is perhaps more far-reaching than any other individual. And in the 45 plus years he's been at Nintendo, he's been responsible for creating many of the world's most loved games. To many, he is Nintendo. But on the eve of Tokyo Game Show, he's talking about the most un-Nintendo-like thing the company has ever created. You could say that we're sort of doing something that we are not supposed to do. If ex-president of Nintendo Hiroshi Yamauchi would hear this, I think he would tell us to stop immediately. Surprisingly, he is talking about the newly opened Nintendo Museum, a two-story interactive celebration of everything Nintendo, situated in Kyoto, Japan, where the company was founded. IGN visited the museum recently, and just like Nintendo, it's a place where fun is at the heart of everything.
Okay, I've heard about a Nintendo attraction park with like a museum like this. This is actually sick.
Miyamoto shares that they wanted to do something appropriate to its identity. Nintendo always has a certain way of doing things. Previously, the company always shied away from talking about its past. With the gaming landscape constantly changing though, it decided now was the time to celebrate all of its achievements, but only if it felt authentically Nintendo. Nintendo is a company that connects with its consumers through products. We do not promote the company itself, only the products. We might be talking about how old Mario has turned, but we don't talk about how many units a certain game has sold. That's what Nintendo has traditionally been doing. But the environment has changed, and we started to revisit that thought. That's not to say the Nintendo Museum is a mecca that only celebrates Nintendo's commercial success. In fact, it's nothing like that. But from the decades of history on display, it's clear to see that the one thing that really matters to Nintendo are the games.
やったーリーダッシュです。やりました。
I feel that
Yatta!
the only way to connect and communicate with the consumer is through the product, shares Miyamoto. It's a position that echoes the thoughts of the ex-Nintendo president, Hiroshi Yamauchi, who ran the company for over 50 years and was responsible for turning it into the global entertainment success it is today. Yamauchi used to say that a lot of companies put a lot of effort and resources into sales to make sure that the product is advertised well so that it reaches greater sales. However, Yamauchi's own philosophy was the opposite. He believed that if you need to over-advertise something to sell, not selling it at all is better. A museum that showcases the story of the company behind the games and consoles is almost antithetical to the philosophy of show not tell. So it's no wonder Miyamoto thinks his old boss might not be in favor of the project if he was still alive today. But since
Okay, this is such an interesting way to play cards. What the fuck? So it's interactive cards. Okay, I might check it out. This is such an interesting way to play cards. What the fuck? Okay, so I don't know if they leave a name. I'll check this thing out. So there is like you have your points, right? You play your modern card game, right? Probably like more classical games, like something similar to tarot or tarots, like mahjong or stuff like that. But this is revolutionary. Wow, this is absolutely beautiful. I don't know.
its founding in 1889, Nintendo's century-old history has begun to pile up. Perhaps sensing its own age, the idea came to turn an old Nintendo factory into its first ever museum. Nintendo has a lot of material that we have accumulated over the years. Some of that is deteriorating, and some of it has been thrown away. Over the years, we started to realize the importance of preserving these materials. The preservation extends to the building itself too, and Miyamoto thought that it would be very Nintendo-like to not have a flashy museum, but to simply repurpose this building and this land that we had as an effort to store and preserve the products that we have made in the past. Rather than simply tell a straight historical story that stretches from 1889 to today, Nintendo enlisted the help of its various technicians and employees with various knowledge and interests that go beyond just video games to create a museum that only Nintendo could imagine. The result is an experience unlike any other. During our tour, we saw exhibitions that tell the story of Nintendo through interactive experiences, like large-scale Nintendo game controllers that can be used to play games with a friend, or a station where guests can create their own Hanafuda cards, the Japanese playing cards etched into Nintendo.
Hanafuda. Okay, let me write this out, because like this looks really interesting.
Nintendo lore. It has more in common with a theme park than a traditional museum, and just as interactivity.
Let me just. Sorry, I need to. Or is it?
Is central to Nintendo's history as an entertainment company, it's also central to the Nintendo Museum. I had never created a museum, so it was quite a different experience for me. But from the midway point, we were constantly making iterations and fixes, which felt very similar to making video games. One of the takeaways we had following our visit to the museum is that, ironically, there's very little history in this celebration of the past. While the interactive exhibits highlight Nintendo's ability to inject fun and gameplay into anything, from amusement parks and movies to Lego toys, there were too few exhibits that peeled back the curtain on how Nintendo created some of our favorite games or consoles. Miyamoto says this is partly by design, but also something that will change in the future. Every year, we have about 100 or 200 new employees that join our company, and I have a talk of over 2 hours with them to explain what kind of company we are. However, after 20 years, I don't really look forward to doing that same talk again next year anymore. The museum, therefore, is meant to give employees and visitors a version of Miyamoto's talk, designed to be accessible by everyone, explaining if we were going to tell our employees what kind of company Nintendo is, we thought it might be good to share that with the public as well. Like Nintendo itself, the museum is something that will evolve over time. What it looks like next year might be very different from what it is today. We are currently in the process of planning next steps in what to include for the future. Initially, the museum was based on the fact that we were only going to exhibit products, but when I put myself in the customer's perspective, I do want to see at least a little bit of stuff from behind the curtains. Miyamoto points out that the Nintendo Museum currently has prototypes for controllers and consoles that have never been seen before, nor can
they already planned the controllers and the Famicom and the Super NES for like the mechas playing it, you know, like in between two battles.
Be seen anywhere else. There are also plans to exhibit artworks and rarities from its games, and Miyamoto suggests that, after making 10 movies or so, maybe Nintendo could even add a movie theater to the museum. Nintendo currently has no plans to set up other museums around the world, so if you want to
I don't know if it's just me, but like
Nintendo currently has no plans.
Don't like the ergonomy and just like the beauty of like the product of Game Boy Advance SP, like and in general, because like I have my own like don't compared to other consoles, don't these consoles are actually like really something that is that has something when it comes to ergonomy, to their own beauty, something special. Like it's almost like it's blessed, man. Like I don't know, like have you? We saw now by now, how it's called. We saw the Cyberdeck, right? We saw the Cyberdeck. Where is it? Give me a Cyberdeck that looks like a Cyberdeck. Thank you. Valve. Right. You see the Cyberdeck, right? And then you compare it to Switch, right? It doesn't have the same magic, I think. It doesn't have the same magic, I think. Like it doesn't have like this, I don't know, this Japanese quality, I must admit. I don't know why. Maybe it's just me, you know? Like, and it's the same with like the DS, like the Game Boy Advance back then. Like it just like adds something that like other consoles never had. Anyway,
to set up other museums around the world. So if you want to experience the most un-Nintendo-like creation the company has ever made, you'll need to visit the Nintendo Museum in Kyoto.
そしてこの度、長年任天堂製品に関わってきたこの場所をミュージアムとして再生しました。
When asked if he has a particular favorite exhibit, Miyamoto says it's the section dedicated to the Nintendo Wii, the company's 2006 motion control based console. The Wii is special to me. At the time, I and former Nintendo president Satoru Iwata felt that games were becoming something specifically for gamers, and we wanted to change that by creating something that could be experienced by anybody. That was
and this is a politic that they had for a long, long time, and that was successful, the Wii U. Well, yeah, the Wii U, it was successful. The what is it called? The Wii U was the first step, but also like all of the consoles that they released since then. The Switch, it's the same. And I think that like this is really important because they really did an effort in understanding their consumers as families. I remember that my ex that never played video games. So yeah, my ex that never played video games, all right? Never. She always despised video games. She will always despise video games. She actually picked up her friend had Mario Kart. We both picked up the controllers like this, and we actually started playing. And this girl is exactly the type of like success that I'm talking about when it comes to commercially, but also when it comes to understanding the type of customer that is the family of the gamers that you sell your products. My ex, if it wasn't for like this brilliant this little pearl of technology, it would have never been possible. And I had so many fun times playing actually the Mario Kart with my ex back in the day, just because like it says, they did the effort to actually be understandable, accessible, and fun to play for families in their general. Maybe the grandpa, maybe the mama, maybe the father, maybe the kid, maybe the little kid. And this is something that I find absolutely magnificent.
Was the driving force behind the Wii, and it was something that we were kind of able to actually accomplish. Looking at the photos of families playing together, it makes me happy to think that the population of people that play games increased because of the Wii.
さまざまな娯楽を作ってきました。時代によって作り出した製品は異なりますが、家族みんなで楽しんでいただきたいという思いは
Yeah, our desire to create the fun for the whole family remains the same. And you can see that not only it remains the same, but also it became quite more and more and more and more and even more something that matters to them. And I think that this is something that like a lot of game industry do not take in account and do not see the importance when it comes to creating a product that is best selling products to designated type of consumers. And Miyamoto and a lot of others understood that and actually made the dream come true.
今も昔も変わりません。
I remember my friend, big fan of Zelda, this man. He was telling me about the Wii U. And he was telling me, man, you take the controller, you do this, you do a slash. You do this, you do a slash. You do this, you do a slash. You do you do a slash. So fucking cool. And this is something that they achieved. There were like a lot of like trial and error in it, but with the Wii U right now, they actually achieved something absolutely unbelievable. And with the Switch, this is something absolutely unbelievable because of how well they managed to create something that is portable, that is family friendly, and that is for everyone. And this is the brilliance of Nintendo that a lot of foreigners do not understand and do not understand within like the reach of, well, I don't know, like it's complicated. Like in the way to do business, in the way to actually like promote, in the way to sell at loss, and different type of like business tactics. But you know what we will miss most when it comes to feelings. Think about it. I'm thinking about it this way. Xbox, Nintendo, or PlayStation. When it comes to feelings, pure feelings, obviously Nintendo. And this is what they created. This is what they created.
If you like this video and want to know more about Nintendo history, why not check out our documentaries about the lie that built Nintendo and the best Nintendo game you've never heard of.